CICS and Irving Park was another school system. And some of you were at the stairs when I was about to come in. You're like, Harvey! You guys missed some steps right here a little while ago. When you look at the video right here, these guys, there you go. It is an honor to be here. And I want to thank Angel for asking me to come out and speak to you. Also, Ms. King and Ms. Diallo, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come back, because when I became a director for the Boys and Girls Clubs, this was where the Boys and Girls Club operated out of. We were in the basement here. For 2 years we were here before we cut the ribbon over on Crystal and Washington. And some of you look at me like, that's the guy that got control. That's the guy that sat me on that bench for those 5 minutes, and I have to reflect on what I did wrong. Now I've got about 3 or 4 minutes for you to reflect on what you've done right. Because not everybody gets it. Not everybody manages to graduate out of grammar school, believe it or not. You go back to your kindergarten pictures, go back to your first grade pictures, and there's going to be a lot of faces that are not here tonight. And you were able to do this in 8 years. And you deserve a lot of respect for that, because there were some people that probably didn't think that you would make it here after those 8 years. People on the streets, maybe people in your family, people you grew up with, might go to school, you could be on the streets and have a good time, but you're here. So I appreciate the fact that you made it for these 8 years. On Friday, I was at a wake for somebody that came here to my Humboldt school. 8 years ago, when she was 8 years old, she was diagnosed with leukemia. You might know what I'm talking about. And on Friday, I went to her wake. And that 8-year thing really stuck in my mind, because she battled for 8 years before she loses this battle to leukemia. But within those 8 years, she still manages to keep coming here to Mount Humboldt. She managed to put in her time at the Noble Street Charter High School. All the while, she's in hospitals and she's at home. She had to go homeschool. There was a time where she had to go from the first floor here to the second floor, which was a struggle because there's no elevators. And even though she's not here, you know she's here. And she's watching you guys. And she's got the best seat right now with some of the kids that share the walls with her here at my Humboldt school. And I thought that was really ironic that when you guys were in first grade, somebody was diagnosed. Now you're graduating and she's not here anymore, but she's watching. And I want to give her some respect. And her sister was also in the audience, who met her a little while ago. And her father, who works with me over at CICS now. And I guess the bottom line is, you really never know what's going to happen next. So I want you guys to start taking control. Maybe give us 8 more years. Maybe give us 4 more years of high school. Give us 4 years in college, get that degree, walk across the aisle, because I'm telling you, when I had to leave the Boys and Girls Clubs, it was not an easy thing for somebody that put in 30 years of working with young people to not be able to run a club anymore, and then start all over at a school after 30 years. Because he had a year of college. They didn't have 4 years, didn't have a degree. And so it's almost like starting over, and I want you guys to start things off on the right foot. You're doing it tonight. I'm hoping that you'll do it in 4 years, and then I'm hoping that you'll do it in 4 more years. And then we'll be able to watch you as you walk across the aisle and get your degree. There's a challenge, and the challenge is to you guys. You need to have a positive impact on your community, your family, your school, your culture. And I think it's really important. When I was at the club, I used to preach that to everybody. It's your family, it's your culture, it's your community. You gotta be proud of where you're coming from. When I first got here in 2002, Angel knows this, there was an article to read, or some of the teachers might know this. There was a substitute teacher that wrote an article, it was a horrible article. And she painted pictures of the kids at Mount Humboldt that were horrendous. And I made copies of the article, and I gave it to some of our teenagers, and I said, this is what you want people to believe about you. And we set up a meeting with this author to meet these kids so she could see that, no, that little article had nothing to do with most of the kids in the school. Just like the newspapers that like to write stories, don't write stories about most of the kids. The headlines are usually not the good headlines. A couple of years ago, when you saw Gangland, they featured one of the Humboldt Park gangs, and they showed some kids in the streets, and they were wearing Humboldt colors. And this is what they showed on TV. They don't show Harv, who became a police officer. They don't show Anna, who became a teacher right here at this school. They don't show Sue Ellen, who works for David Orr, who's a Cook County guy. They don't show Angel, who works here, or Edwin, who's still a program director. This is what you're up against, and there is some pressure, but what you need to do is you need to break the chains. And you need to break out of what some people expect from you. Because they will expect you to make some bad decisions. They will expect that you're not going to make it, and right now you're proving them wrong. You're going to walk across the stage or about to get at the phone that some people didn't think you were going to get. You're making a decision right now that people that are standing on corners all over the neighborhood did not make. And this is a tribute to you. And I want you to keep doing these things. You are now setting the tone. Kids are going to look up to you. You're a graduate. You could be the next WNBA player that comes out of Whitney Young High School. You could be the next state senator that comes out of Roberto Clemente High School. It is possible because it happened. You could be the next America's Next Top Model. You came out of the Those types of things happen. When Eminem was your age, his name wasn't Eminem. It was Marshall Mathers. Who would have thought? When Lady Gaga was your age, she wasn't Lady Gaga. She was Georgetta Hermanetti. Take